I'm here on the West End, on Beach Street, in front of a store called Moshe. I think it's a non-kosher sushi restaurant, but I couldn't help notice the name. And why am I here? Because of this week's Parsha. Simchas Torah, we read V'zos Habracha. And it's all about Moshe. The Torah has really been all about Moshe, with the exception of Parshas Tetzaveh. Famously, Moshe is mentioned in every Parsha since his birth, except for that one Parsha, and there's a whole discussion why, for a different time. But at the end of this Parsha, we read Moshe is described as Ish Elokim, a man of God, and he's described as someone who, when he died at 120, he didn't die because he was sick, he didn't die, he wasn't infirm, he was well, he was strong, he was vigorous, and the Torah describes this. Moshe, the death of Moshe is always emotional for me, even though it's Simchas Torah. He was the greatest human that ever lived. He spoke to God face to face, panim el panim, as the Torah tells us. The Rambam explains that his type of prophecy was different than all the other prophets, that all the other prophets had to see God in a vision. Moshe was able to walk down the street and experience God. Aspeklaria Shlomi Ira, not through an opaque lens, but through a clear lens. And nobody was like Moshe. And Moshe Rabbeinu, he's called Rabbeinu. He's not called our king. He's called our teacher, our Rebbe. Rav Soloveitchik used to say, Ich bin a Melamed. I'm a teacher. There's no greater compliment than to be called a teacher. And Moshe Rabbeinu is that person. We bid farewell to Moshe on Parshas V'zos Habracha. But we know that everything we do, every day, every minute, we're mentioning Moshe, Torah's Moshe, Torah Tzivalanu Moshe, and Moshe's a part of our lives. Hashem chose Moshe to be that person, to be the lawgiver. He had that abilities. He was the most modest person that ever lived, even though he was also the greatest and accomplished more than almost anybody else. And we have to keep that in mind. Simchas Torah, in a certain way, is a celebration of Moshe, even though his death is in a different time, right around Purim time. And some say that's the reason why his name is not mentioned that week, because it's the Yartzeit, which is also his birth. But Moshe Rabbeinu is it. And the Medrash describes how Moshe even fought dying. He only died because Hashem commanded him to. And he did it. Once Hashem told him, that's it, it's over. Moshe was the greatest leader. All leadership qualities can be learned from Moshe Rabbeinu. So we say in bid farewell to Moshe Rabbeinu. We start the Torah over again. And in just a couple of weeks, as the winter is starting, we will be learning about Moshe Rabbeinu once again. Have a great Shabbos and a great Chag.